Hi, and welcome back to Grassroots Crypto, where I like to teach people about crypto. And in this video, we're going to be talking about this DeFi stack. And I'm going to be talking about each layer individually, what's happening in each layer, some of the changes, just as a bit of an overview, and why they're important and what's going to happen perhaps, leading into next year. It's a bit of a high level overview, not getting into too much detail. But just to really trying to give a context around all the stuff that's been discussed, because it can be hard to piece together all the information to get a sense of what's happening, particularly within these 4 layers. As always, lots to get through, so let's get started. So first we have THORChain, and THORChain is going to be simplified back to the normal DEX that it is before. So it enables swapping through native assets with using liquidity pools, and then has a bit of the savers, massive UX upgrade for dual LPs. So whilst technically there's not actually a change for liquidity providers, there's a big UX upgrade, which is going to be the yield streaming. We might have a peek at that in a minute. And then room pool will stay. The rest, things like the lending, whilst it's not cancelled, no more loans will be opened, and savers is not going to ramp up, at least within synthetics. It's probably going to ramp down with regards to the synth utilization. And this is really a simplification and, most importantly, a risk reduction of this particular base layer. So all these planned things of order books and perpetuals they want to do in the base layer are not going to happen at all. It's all through a simplification process and risk mitigation or reduction to bring it back to where THORChain was back when it kind of launched. It was just doing cross-chain swaps, although it was 5 connected chains then, and you just had liquidity providers, and kind of that was it. This enables THORChain just to concentrate on what it's best at, because it's definitely best in class, and it's the biggest DEX in the world for native assets, and then will enable all the funky DeFi stuff to happen in an additional layer. This is the next THORChain release. I'll try and not keep it too complex. But within that, there's a couple of really good important changes. And one of them is going to be the Cosmos SDK update. And this would be the biggest technical change that THORChain's had since the network launched, since it went from 1 connected chain to 5 connected chains. And this will enable THORChain to move its SDK, to move its Cosmos base app, because the THORChain business logic is like an extension from the Cosmos base app, to upgrade its backend essentially to something that's compliant with the rest of the Cosmos ecosystem, so it can 1, integrate, and 2, build DeFi on top of it, or enable DeFi smart contracts. So for the longest time, you can think of THORChain as being like the Ethereum blockchain with no smart contracts on it, and now smart contracts are going to be able to be put on top once this goes through, because this will enable quasi-WASM, which is, I'll show a diagram later about it, and as well as IBC to connect with other Cosmos-based blockchains. So it's a massive change. Changes all the core files within THORChain. Doesn't actually change the THORChain logic at all. It's just all the backend stuff. So that's the biggest change. And then the other one is going to be secured assets being added, which enables value to move between the layers, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Also, base is coming, which is going to be really cool, connecting L2s and obviously IBC, connecting the Cosmos chains as well. So just an enormous, it's not only like technical change, but also an evolution of the protocol itself. So now let's talk about the layer 2, which is Rujira, formerly from the Rujira people. And you can read about this on the website here. There's more. This is the docs. There's one on secured assets. And you can see the roadmap where we're at for Rujira as well. So we're in November at the moment. You can look at more information here. I have all the links in the description below, but let's get back to my pictures. So Rujira is the THORChain App Layer, and that's going to sit on top of the THORChain base layer, the current protocol as we know it. So they're really one layer. It's just that these are going to be smart contracts on top, kind of aggregatively known as the app layer. And then you still have the same base layer, but it's all on the same blockchain. There's only one layer here. Secured assets, formerly known as breached assets, is going to be what's used to move value or interact between the chains. These are technically known as bank tokens, and they're compliant to all the things that you need to do fancy stuff within Cosmos. And they're collateralized the same way that trade assets are, and that's going to be outside of the pools. The incentive pendulum has been updated to account for this. Some more tweaks have been added since trade assets was added to a kind of account for potentially what's going to happen, because no one knows really until this app layer goes live and these secured assets go live what's going to happen and how much this is going to get utilized. Since secured assets aren't live, I don't want to go on too much detail, just to say that this is what's going to be used to integrate, and these asset types are compliant with everything that needs to happen. So when we have a look at the liquidity pools, the base layer or all the existing liquidity pools within THORChain stay within THORChain. And the app layer can utilize them using a Ruji pool. There's going to be a Ruji rune pool in order to bridge them in a way. Then there might be, we call them like app layer or app layer pools, sometimes known as exotic pools, to make up all the difference. And you could say, short tail, long tail, if you kind of want to think of it like that, at least within the app layer context. And that's seemingly how they're going to work. And this is how you can avoid fragmented liquidity instead of having like Bitcoin or wrapped Bitcoin or what bridged Bitcoin or whatever else in the app layer, as well as the base layer. You concentrate in liquidity into where it belongs. I want to just quickly go back to THORChain and talk about the yield streaming or liquidity provider experience, just whilst I'm here and think about it. So this is yield streaming, and I do want to stress this diagram is based off the 3 issues that have been created. This hasn't been implemented by code, and the implementation may change. So big disclaimer before I go over this. This is essentially what the dual LP user interface upgrade will be, and this is going to be a prime feature or focus for next year. So normally when yield comes back from swap fees, block rewards or whatever, and it's paid to the pools, it pays it directly into the pool, and that mixes with your principal, and you can't really tell, separate yield from principal at that point. It's all the same. So this yield streaming idea will separate the yield from the principal that was provided by the liquidity provider, so they can start to see their yield go up. And when a permanent loss occurs, the pool size gets affected, but their share doesn't. So you could say their principal is affected in a way, depending on how you look at it, but the yield isn't. It's a way that you can save the yield there to take profits. Anyway, so this is collected in this yield collector module. It's very much like the affiliate module. And then a user can either add it back to the pool, so sort of like compound or roll over, or think of it however you want, or they can go ahead and actually withdraw some of it or all of it. So you can see here, they can see the yield that they've got, they can claim a percentage of it, and they can claim it in any asset. So say it was earned in Rune or Bitcoin or whatever, they can say, oh, I want it paid out in UST, and then THORChain will swap it out to what they want. Or they can add it back into the pool to re-add it. From what I understand, at least what's detailed into the issue, a withdrawal will trigger an actual claim. So you'll get what's the principal plus the yield that you've collected in a withdrawal. So that's one of the THORChain base layer updates, and that should come next year. All right, so just getting back and having a look what Rujira provides. So it has all these more complex, these within the smart contracts, complex DeFi stuff. So you got your order books, your liquidations for your lending, normal AMMs, that's kind of like normal trading, and then you have DEXs, which is just different because the DEX is from order books, just different to how THORChain does it. And then you have like options and perpetuals from Labana. So together, because this app layer can access the pools within the base layer, like we talked about before, together they can be as complex as any other DeFi protocol, but also add layer 1 Bitcoin and Ethereum or native assets, which is so cool because THORChain can then offer, well, via THORChain you can offer native Bitcoin to any connected DeFi smart contract here, or connected chains via IBC. It becomes very powerful. So Rujira can, like I said, offer native Bitcoin to people as an output of a swap, or to other connected Cosmos ecosystem chains. Technically, what it kind of looks like here is you have the Cosmos Base app, and that's what's been upgraded by the V50 update I talked about before. You have all the business logic for THORChain, which is contained here pretty much. And then the V50 update will enable the Quasi-WASM module, and then these smart contracts run inside of a WASM VM, very much like an Ethereum smart contract runs inside of an Ethereum, or the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. So that's what's happening within one blockchain, within the THORChain blockchain. There's no actual layer 2 or splitting of a layer 2 concept. It's really, we're going to have the base between this, the base layer, and between, I guess technically that, and this, you're going to have the app layer. So that brings us to this picture, which is kind of just builds from the other one, where we have this complete THORChain app layer, be able to provide any type of DeFi with the option of native assets. And that's kind of like a little bit of how the stack works, with the smart contracts being able to talk to THORChain using some custom bindings, as well as those secured assets to move value between the layers. So you can just start to imagine the feature improvement that, you know, Rujira gives THORChain, or as a collective, these two layers bring to DeFi. It's something that's never been done before. Like, you might have this on like a layer 2 or whatever, but it's never able to get native assets. So, you know, between the two, they're able to provide the most, you know, complex DeFi functionality with the option of native assets. It's just so cool. There might be a big demand for this, so there has to be a good way to integrate into these particular app layers. So SwapKit is going to be the preferred solution. It already integrates into THORChain extremely well as all these other blockchains using aggregation methods and stuff like that. So just having a quick look here, you can have a look at what all of it's integrated to, and it's probably going to be the primary way interfaces can integrate into these two combined layers. And that's going to be really powerful for all the different wallets and exchanges and whatever else that want to integrate and leverage the benefits of what I've just talked about. So getting back to the stack, we've talked about THORChain, Rujira, SwappKit Dev. That's, you know, if this blows up and gets more volume, then that helps increase the pool depths for what Rujira is going to use. When Rujira gets more utilization, that's obviously going to use the THORChain base pools. So we're getting a lot of volume here. When SwapKit integrates with other exchanges, UIs, wallets, and stuff like that, that just builds more and more volume for both these layers combined, which is really, really cool. And now let's go have a look at the last component of the stack, which is Vultisig. So here we have Vultisig. I've done a video on it before that you can see here. And it's a different type of wallet, an MPC wallet. I'll go through that in a sec. They've been merged with THOR wallet, if you didn't know. So whilst they started in February and, you know, kind of a startup thing, now they're backed by THOR wallet and backed by quite a good team. Same founder as THORChain, and this is really on a very strong projection forward. It's one of the most exciting new, I guess, wallets within this cycle. Going to the conferences, speaking to investors, everyone's very, very, very excited about Vultisig, and it's been aggressively pushed and marketed. And what I like about Vultisig is that you can have kind of like a spectrum where you can have a normal, different type of wallet. That's just your own self-custody wallet using DeFi, or you can go all the way through to like a crypto.com experience where you get your own card, KYC, and you go through the whole process. But it's like a bit of a spectrum where you can choose where you want to be on that spectrum. So you can have a look at Vultisig here, and just as a very quick explanation, it's an MPC wallet. It requires multiple points of authentication. Just like you need multiple points of authentication to log into your bank, to log into your Gmail or whatever, you need like a 2FA code. We don't do that for wallets at all at the moment. Everything's single sign. So this enables like a multi-factor or a multiple signature. So just say we set up a 2 of 3 multisig here. And the membership's 3. We have 3 devices. We have a desktop, phone, and tablet. And then you would need at least 2 out of those 3 within the membership to sign, which is really cool. I like that if I use my desktop to create the transaction, maybe I've got an app on my desktop, I can then co-sign it with my phone. So I'd need 2 devices. There's no such thing as a single signing. So you can upgrade your security that way, because most people are going to have their desktop and their phone on them. And then if one gets compromised, it's fine. Similarly, like you can also do this resharing where it's like, well, I lost my tablet. I can then perhaps have another tablet over here. I can reshare and remove this tablet from the membership and add another tablet to the membership here without having to transition all of my funds like you would do for a Bitcoin or an Ethereum multi-sig setup. It's really cool, use of the same technology behind THORChain, and soon to go through a TSS upgrade that will make it even better. There's some more docs here for Vultisig, so you can check them out, or also check out the video that I did here for more information. So Vultisig, again, being aggressively marketed, talking to the right people. So the more that this expands, the more traffic that it's going to drive down into the Rujira and THORChain layers. So together as a complete stack, the idea is that if one grows, it helps the other. Was it Binance Blockchain Week? We're explaining Vultisig, and at the same time we're explaining Rujira and THORChain. One builds on the other. This then is a complete stack that can be offered to a normal user to go from, zero to hero within DeFi in a way that they can use a really good wallet in order to access all of this particular DeFi stuff without having to be a DeFi guru, because it's going to abstract away the details, and at the end of the day you can use just native assets without bridging and wrapping and moving between chains and all that type of stuff. Well, that's the video, and I hope you found it useful. I hope you understand a bit more about the 4 layers, where they fit in, and how they're really looking to build each other over time. I think it's such an exciting thing. It's nothing like this has been done in DeFi, at least that I know of, a combination of these particular layers in order to build a complete DeFi stack that includes the wallet and everything else, end to end, that anyone can go ahead and use. Let me know your thoughts. What are you thinking about this particular combination into the future? Can you see anything else or any other projects that's doing anything like this that can offer, native assets as well as all the fancy stuff that Rujira is giving? Let me know. Put your comments in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and like the video to see more videos like this. I might have a few more that I do, because I'm pretty excited about this. Thanks for watching. Until next time.